What's up, y'all? I'm still out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on what's turned out to be a pretty cold day. I am getting some sun to peek out in between these random clouds, but it ain't heating up fast at all. And the wind has picked up, which is the worst thing that can happen out here when it's cold. But this is actually the last test I'm doing out here today, so I should be all right to get this one done. We're checking out what should be some more good 10 mil. So once again, I've got the abbreviated jelly contraption going on out here. If y'all watched my last video, I left my radar at the house, so all we got's the one optical chrono. Still able to get the muzzle average and the 10-foot round right here at the gel, so no really big deal on it. I have done one test today and it all stayed at that back side, so I've got this whole front section to get this one done. Of course, I'm using my heavy clothing barrier that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is another solid copper expanding HP 10 mil. This time it's from DoubleTap. Once again, this is a 155 grain copper expander. They're saying 1400 FPS, and they say it's from a Glock 20, so that'd be some nice energy. That's getting close to 700, 670 actually. They've got it on the box, so nice that they say that's out of the 20. Here's a look at your cartridge, brass case with that big old opening in that copper projectile. Now these were sent to me by the same person who sent that 45 Powerball I just tested, so big thanks again to him for that. Really, we want to see how it compares to the Underwood 155 that I just tested. Now the Underwood was claiming 1400 also, and we ended up getting 1326 average out of the G20 with that, so it'll be interesting to see how this does compared to that. And of course, as far as what I'm sending them out of, for the long one here, we've got the G20 with the 4.6 inch barrel, and then we've got my EDC, the G29 with the 3.8 inch. So hopefully I can get this one right here done before this wind blows me off the side of the mountain. Let's get everything set up and see what it can do. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we get from this stuff. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this G20 first. Now remember, this stuff's saying 1400 on the box from a G20, so I really hope we see it right here. $12.96, $12.95, $13.03, $12.90, $6.56. That's an error. That is way lower than 1400 and definitely lower than the Underwood. I'm not liking that at all. Let's check out the average. All right, y'all, looks like we got us another 10 millimeter light right here. 5-round average, we had a high of 1303, a low of 1290. The average was 1296. Extreme spread was 13, and a standard deviation of 4. So very nice consistency right here. Just disappointing that we're really not even all that close to the 1400, and we're out of a G20. At 1296, I mean, I'm pretty sure that puts us under 600 foot-pounds, not a whole lot under. Don't get me wrong, it's not the weakest 10 mil in the world, but it's definitely not anywhere close to something like Buffalo Bore or real high power 10 mil. So let's get it all reset and see what the 29 does. All right, let's see what we get from the shorter barrel. We shouldn't be a whole lot less. You normally don't see a big difference between this 29 and the 20, even with lighter rounds. So we'll probably be 1240s, 1250s if I was guessing. Let's check it out and see. That ain't correct. Let me back up a little more. There we go, 1214, 1243, 1181, and 1239. That 1181, that may be an outlier, maybe a little bit of an error there, so take that for what it's worth. Let's check out the average. All right, I think we're pretty much where I figured we'd be. We had a high right here of 1243. Our low was at 1181. I got rid of the 6 something because I know that was an error. The 1181 could be, but it may be legit. If I was gonna say one way or the other, I'd say that's probably legit. So 1181 on the low. That gave us an average counting that one of 1219, which also opened our spread up because of that lower round to 62 with a 24 standard deviation. So definitely not as consistent if you take that 1181 to be legit. 1219 average here, and if you remember on the 20, it was 1296, so you're talking about, what is that? 77 feet per second difference between those. That's a little more than I usually see across the board with 10 mil testing these, so that 1181 may be a little out of line. Take that for what it's worth. All that that being said, being that these are copper expanders, we're probably gonna see some good stuff in the gel. And again, like I said, this isn't terrible performance by any means. It just isn't, definitely not top tier 10 mil. But that's enough talking about it. Let's get this stuff reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, if the spice ain't right, we gotta call it 10 mil light jelly time. We'll put one from each barrel length into the gel, starting with this G20. Again, I got a feeling we're gonna see some good performance from this stuff. Y'all know me though, I just wanted a little bit hotter for sure. All right, perfectly placed. Let me go see what I got. All right, nothing really surprising right there. Really nice looking performance in the gel. We dropped on down quite a bit on velocity. 1235 is what I'm seeing down there. So take that for what it's worth. Some people I know don't care, but that just ain't full power 10 mil, y'all. All right, that should have been another perfect placement. Let's go check these out. Very, very nice performance from both of these. I had absolutely no doubt, especially being copper expanders. Those things nearly always do what they're supposed to do unless they're just grossly underpowered. And these, although underpowered for 10 mil in my opinion, I mean, you're down here with this, with the 29, that right there is below 500 foot-pounds of energy. Not much more below it, but I mean, under 500 foot-pounds of energy, you're up in good 40 Smith & Wesson territory. So in my opinion, definitely not loaded where they need to be for 10 mil, but they are loaded enough to get their job done for sure. So the first one up top here, that's the G20. Both of them look nearly identical, which y'all know I really, really like. This one comes in here, massive disruption, huge energy transfer. It slung the cloth right off the block, keeps on going through here, looks like about maybe 3 inches short of the end of this first block, and of course some beautiful expansion to go with that. And then down below that, pretty much more of the same. Little smaller area disruption. It was going a little bit slower, but that's just really nitpicking when you're talking about disruption in gel here. Very, very nice disruption. Huge energy transfer once again, immediately keeps on trucking. This one actually goes probably maybe an inch, about an inch further than that other one, but virtually the same. And as far as expansion, it looks very, very close there also. So let's see how far they did go. Up top here, the G20, that one is out to 13.5 inches, so very, very nice right there. And then down below that, the G29 is out to 14.25, so both of those with some really nice penetration. And then here's your close-up look. Again, really impressive looking energy transfer right there. Both of them keep on going through the block, and there you can see that really, really nice expansion from both of them. Looking from above, they're stacked right on top of each other, so kind of got to get you in an angle. I think you get the picture though. Both of these things, again, did a fantastic job. I just personally want more out of 10 mil. All right, let's take a look at these projectiles here. Very nice looking stuff. Always impressive when you see solid copper expanders. They always really symmetrical. Now I say always, sometimes you get them where they'll break off, where they're just maybe not machined right. I don't know what the deal is, sometimes over pushed. These are absolutely perfect. This one right here was from the 20. This one was from the 29. You can see maybe just little, well, really, it just depends on which pedal you look at. I was gonna say maybe you can see that this 20 is pushed down a little further, but you really can't. It's honestly just depending on which way you look at it, which pedal. Either way you slice it though, these things did a beautiful job. So let's get some numbers and see what we got. I don't suspect we lost any weight at all. They started at 155. This one is at 155.2, so nothing lost there. This one is at 155.0, so these things are right on the money. And then as far as the expansion, I swear this one on the 20 looks a little, just a tiny bit smaller. You got 787 and 790, so absolutely fantastic symmetrical expansion right there. And then this one from the 29, you got 806 and 815, so sure enough, a couple of thousandths bigger just because this one did peel back a little more, but virtually the same from both of these barrel lengths. So there you go, y'all. y'all, the DoubleTap 10 mil 155 grain copper expanders. Really nice performance from these for what they are, looking at them right here in the vacuum, if you didn't know they were 10 mil. And even as 10 mil, I mean, they still did a good job here in the gel. I just want more from 10 mil. To me, this is underpowered for 10 mil. There's really no getting around that. I know some people don't care. If you don't care, you don't care. That's a different thing. But to deny this is loaded light for 10 mil is just not being honest, because it obviously is. Even the Underwood, which isn't the strongest thing in the world, that I tested this same stuff, 155 grain copper, it even had a higher average. So as far as I'm personally concerned, this is not one that I would go seeking out to get. If I had them, I would run them, just depending on what the situation. If I'm just looking at two-legged protection, I would have no problem running these. But if I'm wanting true whomper stomper 10 mil, this isn't gonna be the one. All right, y'all, looks like I'm about to lose my son again, which means it's gonna start getting cold again. So I'm gonna wrap it up right there for this one and get my stuff together and head out of here. This was a fantastic 40 Smith & Wesson round. As far as 10 mil, it's just too weak. It's just too weak. That's all there is to it. It's weak. I don't want weak 10 mil. None of y'all should want weak 10 mil. If you want something weaker than real hot loaded 10 mil or even good loaded 10 mil, then just carry something else if you look for something weak. If y'all have watched any of my 10 mil videos, I don't even have to go into it again. Y'all know my thoughts on it. There's just absolutely no reason, in my opinion, unless the only tool you own is a 10 mil and there's no other way for you to get another one, you shouldn't be carrying watered down 10 mil ammo. But I'm sure the same ones as always is gonna have to tell me how wrong I am and how weak 10 mil is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So let me know down in the comments what y'all think. What do y'all think about this particular round? What do you carry in 10 mil? Let me know what your thoughts are. Big thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got some really good stuff planned, so make sure you stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.